For more analysis on Brazil's election and its impact on the economy, we're joined by Latin American analyst Rafael Salies. Thank you for joining us. So let's start with talking about these last-ditch efforts by Haddad and Bolsonaro in these final days to woo voters.
Well, Bolsonaro is very much in keep the vote mode, right? So he's doing everything he can to maintain his lead, make sure he can glide out the last few days of the election. And that's one of the reasons why he's missed out on the last debates, especially the debate that was supposed to happen tonight on Brazil's main television channel, Globo. Now, Fernando Haddad is trying to make up the gap in the last-ditch effort, right? It's about a 12-point gap. He needs to make 6 points so that to tie with Bolsonaro, and he's doing everything he can. The militancy is out in the streets. They're trying to turn voters on a one-on-one basis, and they're trying to perform a miracle here. It's very low chances he can do it, but he sees at least a possibility.
Now, certainly a lot on the minds of voters. Coming off of a recession, you also have, obviously, the corruption scandal, ongoing violence, some unemployment issues. What would you say are the key factors that this election is going to come down to?
Well, insecurity has definitely been the key factor here, and it's the mainstay of Bolsonaro's approach. This potential seen liberalism of the Bolsonaro camp is also one of the factors here, especially since they're counterpointing this to the last 13 years of PT government. Of course, the Temer government's been in power for the last 2 years, but they're looking at the 13 years of PT government when they compare it to the Bolsonaro proposals or what passes as a proposal inside the Bolsonaro camp. But at the same time, it's very important to keep in mind that for the first time in Brazilian election history, values have become an electoral point to make and to win voters through. Values voters are finally a potential mass to win and to help you win elections in Brazil, something they've never been historically. So we're talking about abortion, we're talking about harder sentences for criminals, we're talking about the LGBT community and their rights. That's very much on the table in these elections.
And what about the key economic platforms for both candidates? How are they presenting that to Brazil, and how achievable are they?
Well, Fernando Haddad's economic platform is a watered-down version of the last PT governments, right? It's a watered-down version of the Dilma government. It is very much what you'd expect from a Labor Party in Brazil, while the Bolsonaro campaign's proposals are very much in the line of a liberal proposal of privatization, of central bank independence, of removing the state from economic activity. However, that clashes with the candidate's past, right? So it's not really clear if this is going to be part of the policy that he inputs once he's in government. But he's using his main economic advisor as a token of confidence with the market so that they actually do believe that he's going to put forth this more neoliberal agenda.
And so how do you think these very different political directions that the candidates want to go in will affect regional relations?
Well, in Bolsonaro's case, he's let it become clear that he's going to be closer with countries such as Argentina under Macri, Chile under Pineda, right? These more right-wing governments that we have in the region. Meanwhile, Haddad will play the game as PT has always played it, right? They might not be close to Pineda himself because the PT government wasn't particularly friendly with Pineda, but he'll have good relations with Macri due to the importance of Argentina. He'll have good relations with Uruguay. He'll try to reach out to Venezuela more, right? Something we will not see the Bolsonaro government do. Bolsonaro government will be very, very hostile towards the Venezuelan government. So it's going to line up on ideological lines in some way, but we'll see a more ideological foreign policy inside the Bolsonaro government than we would in the PT government in that sense.
And just quickly, we did see the stock market rally and we saw a stronger currency push ahead of the vote. So as we await this vote count, what is this political limbo doing in terms of the economy as well as investors?
Well, currently the political limbo is actually pretty well for the market, as you've said, like The stock market is rallying, currency is gaining strength. Clearly, the Brazilian market is in disconnect with the international market, right? That crashed today. So it is very clear that economic holders in Brazil are happy with Bolsonaro's stakes in the game. And they're pushing their agenda economically as they see the possibility of his election.
All right, thank you so much. Latin American analyst there, Rafael Salies.